Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and it's great to spend some time with you here today. Now, today's project will be a little different than a lot of what I do here in the channel, in that I'm going to be dealing with computers that are only 5 years old. Rather unusual thing. It's usually 10 and older. But I happen to have two 2015 MacBook Pros. I have my original 13-inch that I bought back in 2016. And I have a 15-inch, which I bought this past year. I happened to get a great buy on it. There was no SSD in it, so I put an SSD in, transferred data, etc. There's a video about that. Well, one of the things that has happened over the course of using this machine is that somehow or other, as many people do, I use a VPN. Not when I'm here; things are buttoned up pretty well here. But when I'm on the road, I will put on the VPN. I found that if I didn't connect through the VPN, I was no longer able to connect to the internet. Strangely enough, and in the process of trying to troubleshoot it and fix it, it happened on this one too. Now, I got with support of the service, and we went on and on and on for days trying things, and I finally just gave up. What with the pandemic, I've been here most of the time. I haven't really needed to use a portable computer all that much. But I need to get it fixed. So, my plan today is going to be to do a clean install of Catalina. Now, of course, as we all know, Big Sur has come out, but I am going to hold off on Big Sur, at least for now, and stay with Catalina, particularly since I'm trying to troubleshoot a problem, and let's go with an operating system that's a known quantity for right now. I will be doing a backup on my handy Samsung drive here, just in case. And I have already prepared a flash drive with the Catalina installer, using a neat little application called Install Disk Creator, which basically just, I'm sure many of you may have been through the rather tedious pain in the neck of making this kind of thing using terminal commands. Install Disk Creator just automates those terminal commands. You just set it to go pick your disk, pick your installer, bam. It does it. Takes a while, but it does it. Very simple. So I will be installing. Now, of course, that's going to end up basically being a clean install. What I intend to do is to use this, since this machine I basically cloned from this machine, use this machine and the wonders of Thunderbolt 2, which we don't think about that much these days now that Thunderbolt 3 is out, but using Thunderbolt 2, connect the two and transfer the applications. I think basically if I transfer everything but the network settings, that should result in the desired goal, which is a machine that's got all of my applications on it set up the way I want it to be, and will just go on the internet without having to put the darn VPN in. Hopefully this is going to work. In theory it ought to, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? So if you're curious, please stay tuned. Alright, as you can see here, I've got Time Machine open. The Samsung T5 is plugged in, and I've currently got this going. Now, the machine does back up to a network attached storage drive. However, if I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using it, this is prudent just from the standpoint of the sheer speed over USB 3 is much faster than over the Wi-Fi connection on my network. So once I've got this done, I'll be plugging in the USB installer drive and booting up into that and beginning the installation of Catalina. Please stay tuned. All right, the backup is now complete. Took roughly 50 minutes. I didn't really time it, probably should have. Okay, we can close out of all of that. Now, we can eject the backup drive. And here's our install macOS Catalina drive. So, I'm going to reboot, hold down the old option key, of course, and we will be booting into the Catalina installer. Stay tuned. Oh, we're progressing at pace. We have our option to select install macOS Catalina, so we're going to do so. And yeah, going on USB 3. I mean, USB 3 is great. I'm so glad we have it available, but there are issues. Okay, everyone has seen macOS installed, I'm sure, so I shall sign off this, and we'll be back presently when something happens. Stay tuned. All right, we want to do a clean install. Go into Disk Utility. There we go. We have our Macintosh SSD. Now remember, of course, I have backed it up. In fact, it's double backed up because it's backed up on the network drive, it's backed up on my portable SSD, and there's the option of recovering from the other MacBook, which is actually what I intend to do. So, let's do it. And there we go. Okay, install macOS. This is 10.15.7, by the way. Okay, so we'll be back again when something happens. Stay tuned. Now, while I'm waiting for the installation to take place, I have booted up the 13-inch MacBook Pro, connected here via the Thunderbolt 2 cable to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. And that should be very much prepared for us to do our data transfer. And if we see how we're doing here, it says about 4 minutes remaining. I'm suspecting maybe a bit longer than that, but you can never tell. Okay, stay tuned. Up, and here we are. And we are in the United States. right, now. Well, I'm expecting that it's going to find the other MacBook, but stay tuned. We'll get it sorted. Well, I was not thinking very well. Of course, I had to put the other MacBook Pro into target disk mode in order for this to work. Now, we're going to deselect computer network settings and other files and folders. So what we're going to be bringing across are the applications and the rest of the user folder. Hopefully, not bringing across the network and settings is going to allow for everything to boot up the way that it should boot up, and allow for the Wi-Fi to be working without having to put the VPN on. This should go pretty fast. Right now it's reading things up. Okay, I think it has at this point. Still doing applications. And it should go quite quickly because of the advantage of Thunderbolt 2. All right then, stay tuned. All right, it appears to have read all of the applications. We've got 27, just about 28 gigabytes of applications in there. The user folder is 48 gig, which is a lot. I may actually be transferring the trash over. I don't know why I didn't empty it. All right, well, let's have at it. Right. Okay, now, as I say, this should be at Thunderbolt 2 speeds. This should be pretty fast. So I shall watch it for you. Stay tuned. Okay, that's completed. Was really quick. About 15 minutes, maybe not quite. Hopefully it will actually pop up here. Okay, so we got a bunch of setting up things to do. I will attend to that off camera. Stay tuned. Well, that really didn't take much. My plan worked perfectly. Oh, it's kind of interesting. You see, I'm on the internet. I am not connected to the VPN, and YouTube is up here and running. I had to sign in to my account in YouTube, and having changed the name of the channel from my name to Broken Electronics, whenever I do sign in, it greets me with, "Hi, Broken." Well, anyhow, so it's working perfectly well, and I'm just really glad. There are things I'm going to have to do, like, for instance, it is not 329 right now, but we can address all of that. So there's a certain amount of setting up yet to do, but I didn't have to do much of anything. Yeah, just not transferring the network settings seemed to fix the entire thing. Now I'm going to have to do something similar on the 13-inch, although rather than install uh, Catalina on it. I might just install Big Sur on that, just sort of as a test to get my feet wet in the new operating system, while on my working Macs, I leave as is. Okay, so anyhow, a very successful endeavor today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, don't know that I've got a lot more on the MacBook Pros coming up, but I certainly do have a lot of other material that should be of interest. Uh, Anyhow, be good to other people. They deserve it. Be good to yourselves. You deserve it. We'll make this a better world yet. Until it is, take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times, and we will be back with more stuff. Until that time, this has been Broken Electronics.